Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla, let's go over the market, let's talk about what happened today. Pretty wild day in the market today, so I'll give you my thoughts and what I think essentially, can happen moving forward. So all that being said and done, ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section on YouTube is live. That link is down below for just $2.99. You get access to all my intraday thoughts, posts, updates, etc. Every single day the market is open on Tesla and just the market in general. For just pretty much $3 a month. If you're interested, the link is below. Or for $5 a month, you get access to all of that, plus NVIDIA daily updates as well. So definitely check it out. We'd love to have you there. But yeah, let's just jump into it. Tesla with a pretty brutal day, closing down about 8.5%, which is pretty substantial, closing at $210.73 per share, which unfortunately compared to the market, even though the market's having a pretty painful day as well, it's still a pretty decent underperformance. So let's talk about what this means moving forward and what I personally believe can happen moving forward. So yeah, brutal day, right? Massive red candle, right? Pretty much closing out the double, nice green days that we had the last 2 days, completely eliminating all that. We're pretty much back to where we started roughly at the beginning of the week, we'll say roughly, right? Give or take. So, not ideal. Now, why did this happen? I guess is the first question, right? Well, let's talk about that. So this is what I was sharing with my members earlier this morning. Check it out. Let's go to the morning post here. Tesla pre-market getting rejected at yesterday's high. Our break above should see us to move to 240-ish, but this can also be the top for the day if we do not break above, right? Which I'll show you what level was. And then also mentioned this 6 hours ago. The last time Tesla had a double top situation like this at 235, the rejection was followed by a steep sell-off. If we lose 233 to 225, this was still back when Tesla was at like 225. That can become a reality as well. Still a big if, of course, but just keep in mind what happened last time. So let's talk about those two things, right? First, let's go to the 1 hour chart, and this is what happened, right? This is just for learning purposes, educational purposes. I wish I listened to it. I'll be honest. I tried catching this knife today because I honestly thought it'd stop around 220. It didn't. I was hoping it would, but it didn't. So I ate into my profits for the week. Thankfully, I still ended the week decently green. But man, it could have been a lot better if I just sat on my hands today. I told myself I'll sit on my hands today. I didn't sit on my hands today. Anyway, so the thing I'm looking at is this, right? I mean, take a look at this, right? We zoom out on the 1 hour chart. Let's remove this yellow line for now, right? Take a look back here, all the way on the left over here that happened pretty much what? Late July, right? Like literally super late July. We came up to pretty much the exact same level we came up to today and yesterday, right? Came up to this level, bam, got rejected. Bam, got rejected, came down. And then we came up again. And then we came up again. This time pre-market, right? And technically open there as well, but pre-market we'll say as well, right? And you can see pre-market, we did come up to that general level. And then not only did we get rejected, pretty much at the exact same level as yesterday, but we couldn't break above it. We tried again as the market opened. We couldn't break above it. And, we pretty much ended up almost identically copying what happened last time. And what happened last time, again, double top, also pretty much at 235, couldn't do it. And then we started selling off aggressively. And then we stopped a little bit at around 215. Where did we stop a little bit around here? 215. Not as long, of course, not as long. But nonetheless, we did take a little bit of a break around 215. And then we flushed down even lower. And then this also flushed down even lower to 207. Took a snooze. Stopped there for a little bit around 207, which, definitely can happen on Monday. At this point, I'm expecting 207 Monday, to be honest. And then it gapped down even further. And this was when we had that market crash. Remember that market crash that everything just completely crashed? I don't know if that'll happen again, but it's a pretty identical sell-off compared to last time. The exact same double top 235 situation into just pretty much a massive flush down, almost just very aggressively. That's what we're seeing right now. And again, there are things that are, I'm not seeing signs that this is done yet. I wish I could say I was, and I'm not, right? I don't see it. Like I do not see it. What was it? I think there was one other thing I was talking about. Oh yeah, the pre-market thing as well and the double top. Anyway, so that's kind of it is what it is, right? Now let's talk about the daily chart really quickly. The daily chart is looking more iffy now. I'm not gonna lie, it's definitely looking more iffy after a day like this, right? You can't just have 8.5% days like this without it potentially getting iffy. Why? Well, there's a few things, right? First and foremost, let's talk about the bearish side, right? Well, we closed below the 21 EMA again. We closed below 21 EMA, we closed below 214, 215, and that level has officially turned back into now, in theory, a resistance. So we'll see if that actually holds true or not, but that's pretty bad. We also have pretty much a bearish engulfing candle that's engulfing pretty much the majority of yesterday's candle substantially. So that's obviously pretty bearish, right? We close at the lows of the day, so that's showing literally no signs of bullishness whatsoever. Like, I don't know where the bulls are at, but they're clearly not here. So, having a massive red candle like this with a bearish engulfing below the 21 EMA and closing at pretty much the lows of the day, like, I don't think there's literally almost the smallest wick you can possibly ask for. Like, you have to zoom in on this to see this, right? That shows weakness. And honestly, at this point, seeing 207 would not shock me on Monday. In fact, I honestly kind of expected at this point, right? 207 on Monday, it could be expected. Worst case I can see is 203. And like I said many times, and I'll reiterate it once again, breaking below 203 is bearish. I think it's bearish. Personally, I'd be pretty bearish, and I think that will be not very good for the market and Tesla in general. So just keep that in mind, right? Breaking below 203 wouldn't be ideal. So we are entering a pretty massive area of support, right? We've bounced from here before. We've came down to these levels before, right? 207 to 203. I still expect that to be massive support. I'd still expect that to hold as of right now, but obviously there's a chance it doesn't. And if it doesn't, and we break below 203, we start closing at least 1 hour candles below 203, if not daily candles. Well, that's pretty bearish. Let's just say that. That's pretty bearish. And I honestly think we're coming back down to about at least the 180s to 170s after that, if that were to happen. And obviously not like literally right away, but that becomes a target. And like I said before, and I'll say it again as well, as I zoom out over here, right? What do we have? Well, we still have, of course, this green trend line, right? This green trend line, every time we come down to this green trend line, we have found pretty sizable bounces, right? Unfortunately, you know, if we break below 203, this green trend line also becomes, you know, a target, right? At the moment, I wouldn't say it's a target. I only think it's a target only if we break below 203 to 200. We'll just say 203 to 200, honestly, right? Breaking below that, though, this unironically becomes a target. This can be hit sometime in this September or October. Like it will be a pretty substantial flush. Like if somehow that happens, this would be a substantial sell-off, like another almost 30% sell-off. But unfortunately, that can be a reality, right? We'll see, of course, you know, we'll take it step by step. I'm not saying it'll happen for sure, but it is something just to consider at the very least if we start closing below $200 to $203 per share, right? And like I said, you know, I've been saying this before, right? And just, you know, for the past like week or so, I've been saying how the market just, you know, there's just a lot of signs that are looking bearish, right? A lot of things in the market are looking bearish. I was saying how it just looks ready to flush, or just my main indicators that I've been looking at, nothing shows bullish momentum, right? We're below a lot of important factors, right? We were below the 21 EMA in the market. The market closed below that, both QQQ and SPY, right? MACD crossover bearish, RSI is bearish, stochastic is bearish, BX is bearish, everything is bearish. And it's still bearish, unfortunately, right? This is why I don't think the bleeding is potentially done just yet. Maybe it is, who knows? But as of right now, it is a falling knife. And in my personal opinion, you know, the bleeding can definitely continue, right? Again, everything is still cross bearish. Everything is still making lower lows. There's just no signs of a recovery just yet. So again, I expect a red Monday, at least to start off. Maybe it's a red Monday into a massive reversal. Could be a possibility, but at the very least, I expect like the first half of Monday to be red at least. Just my current expectations, right? I've been right so far in terms of, you know, calling for this flush, right? We've been saying how, you know, the Fibonacci's, for instance, on SPY, right? Like back when I was calling this, we were still at like what, 550, and I'm like, bro, we haven't even came to the 382 yet. Like, there's no way we don't at least come to 382, and the Fibonacci's here, if not lower, right? But at least 382, and we're actually below that, unfortunately now. And same with QQQ. Remember, I was saying how I personally would want to see around 618. That's exactly where we are right now. But again, the market also closed pretty much at the lows of the day. Wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more pain. Like, unfortunately, like, it is what it is. I would not be surprised to see a little bit more pain. And we'll see how that goes, of course, as per usual. Yeah, but that's just kind of the main thing I'm looking at, right? Take a look at the options or the weekly chart on Tesla, right? The weekly chart is pretty damn hideous. I'm not going to lie. Atrocious looking candle. Pretty much just a straight inverted hammer candle, right? Just very bearish looking candle. MACD is definitely making lower lows here, right? BX trender is making lower lows. Stochastic is still flipped bearish. We couldn't close above this trend line. It's just not looking good, man. It's just not looking too hot right now. I'll be completely honest with you. It's not looking super hot. This is a falling knife. Maybe it bounces. Maybe you're lucky and you catch the bottom. Who knows? But as it stands at this very moment, in my opinion, it is definitely a falling knife, unfortunately. And like I said in yesterday's video, right, this could be a potential double top situation, and that's exactly what we got. I didn't expect almost a 10% sell-off, I'll be honest. But we did talk about yesterday, you know, how, you know, if there's a place to reject, you know, a major rejection, this would be it. Clearly, we got that. Just I didn't expect it to be this harsh. But, you know, nonetheless, it is what it is. Now, the bulls have been stepping in. You can see it 4 million here, 2.3 million, 215 strike coming in when Tesla was only 213, actually, almost 214 for February 21st, 2025. So the bulls are definitely stepping in. I mean, maybe they'll be wrong. For instance, as an example, and this is why I don't always trust options flow right before NVIDIA's earnings, I saw a pretty substantial amount of calls come in, like quite a lot of millions and millions and millions of calls come in on NVIDIA the day of earnings, like right before the earnings came out, like, you know, while the market was still open. I think it's safe to say those calls are toast. Let's just say that, right? You know, so again, take it as you will, right? Take it with a grain of salt. Options flow is great. Some people rely on it to trade completely. I don't, but, you know, again, it's still good to like have. If you're interested to use it as well, I do have a link below to Cheddar Flow and Black Box, so definitely check it out with the discount. But, you know, Black Box is showing in Tesla is 44 million confirmed bullish flow. So the bulls are definitely stepping in. It's just, unfortunately, if the market continues down and, you know, Tesla unfortunately gets taken down with the market, I don't know, man. It could definitely see lower, in my opinion. So I don't know. That's just the way I'm looking at it, right? The only good signs I would say on the daily chart that exists right now is the fact that the stochastic is still bullish flipped, right? Flip bullish. That's like the only positive sign I see right now. You know, it's a pretty good one. Don't get me wrong. It's actually a pretty good one. I'd like to put a lot of emphasis on the stochastic, but that's like one of the few positive catalysts, right? RSI is kind of looking weak now. MACD still flip bullish, but making lower highs. Same with the BX trender. It's pretty much a MACD at this point, honestly, but also lower highs. Still has a green band. So, you know, it's not all over just yet. There are still some, you know, light at the end of the tunnel situations, like I said right here. But yeah, we definitely want to make sure we do not lose 207 to as low as 200, really, honestly, right? Just that definitely does not want to get lost. Ideally, we hold 203. Yeah, that's just kind of what I'm seeing, and that's what I'm expecting. So if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And as per usual, I'll see you for the next one. Peace.